Welcome to the Camden County Chamber of Commerce's Get in Your Business podcast, your go-to source for all things small business in Camden County. I'm your host, Alison Shores, and each week we'll be diving into the heart of our community, bringing you inspiring interviews with local small business owners, insightful discussions on issues that matter, and the latest on events that could impact your business. Plus, don't miss out on our expert tips to help your business grow and thrive. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or a seasoned business pro, this is the podcast for you. So let's get down to business. What's up, Camden County? Alison Shores from the Camden County Chamber of Commerce. And guys, I am so excited because you're catching the 9th episode of the Get in Your Business podcast. And today I have joining me Mr. Jimmy Smith from Full Armor Training. Jimmy, I'm so excited that you are here. We're going to talk all kinds of things. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
All right. Well, let's start off with what is Full Armor Training? Because we did a Getting in Your Business video on this. But I just want to kind of let you recap it for just a second and tell people what you do so they know what we're talking about here.
Full Armor Training was started about 4 years ago by myself to make the community aware of the laws regarding the use of a firearm, self-defense type situation for home defense. And we also do the leadership. From my time at FLETC, we did several classes for different agencies on how to make your teams better. Mm-hmm. So with those two coming together, I thought we can put together some programs designed and catered specifically for what your needs are. We would meet with folks. They would tell us what they would like to accomplish. Mm-hmm. We give them classes on communication skills.
Okay.
How to better communicate with your workforce, how to understand your employees, how to understand how they interact with each other. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know their lack of communication skills, their lack of management skills until something goes bad.
And two, you've got a generational gap too. So you have, you're working with people that may be 62 years old with a 19 or 23-year-old, and those are different.
Oh, yeah.
They grew up completely different.
Language barriers, ethnic barriers, religious barriers. There's a lot of things that come into play when you have a workforce that you have to supervise and control what's going on. Mm-hmm. What do you do if a person is constantly coming in late?
Yeah.
A person that smells bad. What do you do? Do you know how to tell them? How do you discipline somebody without firing them or going off the deep end? So those are the things we talk about.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what the leadership portion of what you do.
We talk about behavioral styles. Each person has 1 or 4 different personality styles. Mm-hmm. The D-type, dominant type person, somebody that always wants to be the boss.
Yeah.
The I-type personality that they like to talk. They're the influencer type. You have the S personality. They're steady supporters. Those are your worker bees.
Yeah.
There's more S's in society than anything else. Then you had finally the C-type personalities. Those are your compliant conformers. Those are the ones that if the meeting starts at 1 o'clock, they're there at 10 minutes to 1.
Yeah.
So if you walk in at 1 o'clock, you're late and they're up here.
Right.
So you got all these personalities coming together in the workforce. Some people can exhibit 2, but if you work outside of your personality too long, it can cause you stress on your body, seriously.
Yeah. Man, that's all good information to have. So I know some people have reached out to you for this training and you have contracts, national contracts with all this stuff, and it's amazing. But you know what I really want to talk about today? You ready?
Yeah.
I want to talk about these guns.
You want to shoot somebody?
I want to shoot somebody. All right. So the thing with guns is, so there was a time where we had in Georgia, we had to have is it concealed carry? We had to have that permit. Now you don't necessarily have to have that permit. So what does that really mean for us?
That means you can go buy a gun.
Yeah.
If you can legally own a gun,
yeah.
You're not a criminal. You're not a mental person. You have some things in your background that precludes you from getting a firearm. You can just go buy a gun.
Just go buy.
And you don't need a concealed carry permit anymore in Georgia. So that applies only to Georgia. Some states are like that, but Florida is not one of those states. So if you think you can carry your gun in Georgia, which is fine, you go across that line right down the road into Florida and get stopped by the police and you got that gun, you're not going to be covered anymore. So those are the things people need to be.
They need to be aware of that because we are so close to Florida right here. So, just going over the state line, there's a different rule.
Go to Costco or go to Sam's Club. You're carrying your gun, you better have a permit.
Wow. So, my question with that is, do people know what they're do they know how to operate that gun?
No. And I teach people all the time. I got a phone call from a lady the other day, says that her son wants a rifle and she wants him to take my class. Well, I said, fine, I'll take your money.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is not a hunting class.
Right.
So it's a difference between a firearm and a rifle to hunt. You know, I know how to shoot. I went to sniper school and things like that. The problem is carrying a firearm for personal protection is completely different from going shooting Bambi down the road.
Oh, completely different. And the thing is, for me, I think that with the world is every time we turn on the news, we're hearing, you know, this happened. I think there's a little bit of a fear right now. So people want to protect themselves. And I know locally, you know, we've had some problems with theft and stuff. So I really want to talk about how, you know, what are the laws if somebody's coming in and taking something? Like how do we protect ourselves? Because I don't think that just pointing and shooting is the answer necessarily, but how do you protect yourself?
We are living in some trying times. I agree with that. Every day on the news, you see where people are breaking in stores with hammers and taking everything out the stores. I lived in San Francisco for a long time, and you can steal up to $1,000 a day. Nothing happens to you. So if I'm a bad guy, what's precluding me from doing that?
What's stopping me? Yeah.
Nothing. And they're not going to prosecute you.
Yeah.
Now, Georgia, luckily, we don't have those laws in effect here. The problem is if somebody breaks into your house, breaks into your facility, unless you can articulate that you are in reasonable fear of death or bodily harm to yourself or somebody near or close to you, you cannot use a firearm. You can't use a firearm for a property crime in Georgia. Probably most states you can't do that. So people don't know that. So
if I see somebody, let's just say they take my TV, I can't go out there and point my gun and shoot them.
No. That's a misdemeanor. You can go to jail for that.
Really?
If you point your gun at somebody,
even though they're still in my TV?
Yeah, TV is a property crime. You have insurance most of the time for your vehicles, for your property. You're supposed to have insurance. And the thing is, let me tell you this. Is it worth killing somebody over?
No.
Then that's the answer to all your questions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you jump into a Shark Tank to get your watch if it fell in?
No.
Would you jump in the Shark Tank to save your grandchild if they fell in there?
Yes.
It's the difference there. If it isn't worth dying over, it's not worth shooting somebody over. That's the bottom line right there.
So with your classes, do you teach people like how to, like maybe what gun they need? Because I wouldn't have a clue. Like without my husband being able to help me and know about guns, I wouldn't know what gun I needed. I still don't really know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So do you teach people that?
Oh, yeah. That's probably the biggest part of my class makeup. People are buying guns like last Christmas, before last, not this past Christmas. There were so many people that purchased firearms because of what's going on in the United States that they wanted a gun.
Yeah.
Guns are easy to get. The thing is, if I buy my wife a gun because I like that gun, it may be too big for her, too small for her. She can't pull the chamber back. She can't load the magazine. I have people come with guns and can't load the magazines at the range because they're not strong enough.
Wow.
You know, so those are the things. The recoil on the gun, the size of the gun. For women, where are you going to carry it?
Yeah.
You're going to put it in your purse. If you put it in your purse, is your purse always going to be on your shoulder? You know, those are the things that people don't realize, that guns are specifically designed for your hand. So if I get a gun, some guns are too small for my hand, some guns are too big for your hands. So you have to try a gun that you feel comfortable with, because if you have a gun, even though it looks good, it may be financially affordable for you. If you go to the range and you shoot it and it hurts your hand, you shoot it again, it hurts your hand, you're not going to carry that gun. You probably just put it in the drawer because it's not something that you feel comfortable with. So I tell people, before you purchase a gun, at least go to a range that rents guns, or go to a class like mine. We have many different types of guns you can try, from 22s all the way up to 40 calibers, different size guns, different makes and models, and try it. If you find one you like, then go buy it. Don't have to buy it, because guns are not really cheap. You know, I bought a gun that looked really good. It was a good sale. It has the red dot sight where I can look through it and see the dot. And I went to the range, and it hurts my hand, and I'm 250 pounds. Yeah. So it's a waste for me to even carry that gun, because I don't want to shoot it, because I'm not afraid, you know. But it's like, when I shoot this gun, I know subconsciously this gun is going to hurt my hand. So I'm not going to carry it. So I get a gun that feels good in my hand, easy to load, easy to rack around in the chamber, easy to clean, and I feel comfortable carrying it, concealing it, and shooting it.
Yeah. I think for me, when we got to go out there and shoot with you, all your different guns, I was like, I don't know that at first I was really comfortable, like really wanting to shoot the gun or anything else. But after that day, I felt so powerful after you were teaching me just a little bit of time that we had with you learning about it. I already felt more comfortable. I can't imagine what it's like. And I am going to take a class with you because my mom, we're all going to let Mr. Jimmy teach us how to shoot the gun. But I want to say that there is something about that. I'd never thought about a gun feeling comfortable in my hand. And there were a couple of the guns that I would probably never pick up again that you had. But there were a couple that I was like, okay, this was like it was made for my hand. And so I don't know that people really think about that. I think they just think, I got to get a gun, you know? So let's talk about what maybe even some of these small businesses can do to protect themselves right now. What are some ways other than having a gun that they can start protecting themselves that would help out in some of these situations with what we're going through?
My time, I was a criminal investigator for 28 years with the federal government. And when we did investigations on burglaries and robberies, one thing that helped us the most was the video evidence of the incident going down.
Get a camera
that records, and get one that's working. And I've been in the business, or it's not working, so we took it out, or the batteries went dead, or it's been cut. Those don't edify or document anything.
Those don't help anything.
No. And I got a camera. Well, you know, it's 20 years beta or whatever.
Right.
I can't get it to play nowadays.
Pulling out beta.
You know, the thing is, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to solve a case if I got you breaking into a store, robbing a store with your face, with your hand on a gun, threatening somebody, pointing it in their face. That's all the evidence I need to convict you. Now I have to find you, but at least I know what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. So cameras, making sure they work, making sure they record, and just making sure you got a good service that's maintaining those.
Have some type of security system. They are really relatively cheap. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to put in a Simply Safe or ADT type system. Alarm, so that when somebody does try to break in, you are notified. The police are immediately notified, so you don't have to come into the store the next day and everything is gone. You don't know anything about it. We've done churches where people come in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and have stolen all their valuables. They don't even have cameras because they don't think that they need it.
You need it.
You need it.
I think everybody right now, home and business, church, you know, all the things, everybody needs a camera.
Nothing's off limits nowadays to bad guys. And especially they know there's nothing there. They scope it out. They go there. They look around, see who's there. They see who's collecting the offering. They see where you're putting your cash. They know what's going on. And they come back and they plan it. They're not dumb as we think they are.
Right.
They are dumb, but they are not as dumb as we think they are. And the firearm is the last thing you need to protect your business because it can get you in a lot of trouble.
A lot more trouble
than your life if it comes down to it. But if you shoot somebody and you don't have legal ramifications or authority to shoot that person and you kill them, not only can you and will go to jail, you can get sued civilly by the family of the survivor. So people don't think about that. You know,
man,
firearms are a good tool. They've always been, but they can also get you into a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah. Now I know that you've partnered with some people in town to do like self-defense classes. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. You know, when I retired, I was the chief of the physical techniques division at FLETC, and that was one of the biggest divisions there. And we taught all the agents how to defend themselves.
But I think that's amazing. That is so cool.
We talk about how to stay in shape. You know, I need to get back in shape. But those things are essential to having a healthy lifestyle, especially when you're in law enforcement. For a person that's not in law enforcement, you should know how to defend yourself if somebody grabs you from behind.
Yes.
Especially young girls, young men, you know.
And I think about these realtors out there that are, you know, going and showing houses to people maybe they don't know, or I mean, you just don't know nowadays what can happen.
That is one of the largest growing crimes in the United States right now. And I've taught several classes for local realtors here in town. And one of my biggest class was with one of the realtors, and they were surprised at the statistics of how many agents are killed, raped, assaulted every year. Because you look at a real estate article or magazine, most of those people got the best pictures that they got of themselves. Maybe 20 years younger. You know, men.
They definitely have their best pictures.
Some guys looking at a magazine, oh, this girl is nice. I'm going to try to rent a house or buy a house and meet her there. They're out there by themselves for the most of the time. So there are a lot of agents being assaulted. So we do classes on how to protect yourself, how to program and where to meet people, what not to do, what to do. And if you're going to carry a firearm, where to carry it. You don't want it in your purse, and your purse sitting on the counter when you walk in and you're showing somebody around the house.
Right. You
got to put that firearm on your body somewhere. That means you can't wear some of these real skin-tight clothes.
What?
You got to wear something. Yeah, you know.
But where are places that you put guns?
Well, they sell bra guns. They sell thigh guns. They're really sexy ones where they got one on their thigh. You know?
But I just think about accessibility, like how accessible, if you needed it right then, like...
I can carry a gun on my waistband. You would never know I had it. You just can't wear skin-tight clothing anymore, you know. And for women, there are many manufacturers of firearms in your purses. The thing is, purse, though, your purse has to be on you.
Coastal Monogram has I call them the shoot 'em up purse, but I'm not allowed to say that, you know, on the video part of it. But they have have a concealed carry.
Like, but remember, then once you shoot it, that person's gonna have a hole in it.
Right. That person's done at that point. But yeah, okay.
So can you get to it?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, can I get to it really quick?
Yeah, can you get to it? Do you have one in the chamber? Is your safety on? Is your safety off? Those are the things people need to consider when they're carrying a firearm. Because your safety is on and you forget that is on.
Yeah.
Then you got to, time out here. Put the safety, hate to get off. If you don't have one in the chamber, you got to put one in the chamber. So imagine if you don't have one in the chamber and your safety on, the time that it takes for you to do those things, the person can be on you just like that.
That's what I'm saying. And what if I drop it? What if I, like, all those things? There's all kinds of questions I got, Jimmy.
You just got to practice. You know, I tell people most of the time, if you're going to carry firearms, just practice getting it out. Practice, think about things that, what if this happens? If this happens, this is what I'm going to do. You know, if you're driving down the road, somebody pulls up next to you in a car and points the gun at you, what are you going to do? You going to speed up, slow down? What, you going to run them off the road? You going to pull out your gun and have a shootout on the road?
Right.
Those are the things that you need to think about, the ramifications of doing something like that, and the best train of thought in those type of situations.
Now, in your classes, do you go over all the laws?
Oh, yeah, we do. We go over probably not half, but a little over half of the class is dedicated to the laws, because you can lose your house, you can lose your life, you can lose a lot of credibility if you pull a gun and shoot somebody. And then the thing is, you got a dead person, if you're at home, laying on your floor in your living room with blood everywhere. You may have kids who see this, you know. It's going to be a very traumatic event for those people. Who's going to clean it up?
Yeah.
Will you ever forget that sight that you see? It's just shooting somebody. It doesn't end right there. It goes on for years with legal battles and custody of not custody battles, but the traumatic events of shooting somebody. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
You never forget that.
I bet. Yeah, I've never shot anybody, but.
No, it's something that you don't forget.
Yeah. Man. So, all right. So on these classes, we need to learn how to use these guns. That's the bottom.
And when to use them.
And when to use them.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how long do you think it takes somebody to get comfortable once they know all the laws and they've picked their gun that's the most comfortable in their hand? How long does it take to really get comfortable shooting that gun?
I took a lady, she called me, she was a real estate agent. She was really tiny. I mean, she was really small.
Yeah.
And she was afraid that her ex was going to do harm to her and her kids. And she went and bought a gun. And luckily, she got a gun that was small enough that the people at the store told her this would probably be good for you. We took her to the range and showed her how to shoot it. We started off with the .22, went up, she got the .380. And at the end of that day, she felt empowered. She called me about 2 weeks later, can I go back again? Went back again. I let her shoot the AR, which gave her a little bit more authority of like, guns are not your enemy. Guns can be your friend. That thing
made me feel powerful. So don't get me started on the AR.
I remember a former president said he was going to ban her. I wouldn't bought mine then.
Yep. Yep.
So, but the thing is, by shooting a gun, she called me back and says that I called her to see how she was doing. She said she feels good. She's carrying the gun, and she got a holster that's on her waist underneath her blouse, and she's happy with it. And she likes to go to the range. And I said, wow, that's a success story.
Absolutely.
I've had people who went to the range and they got their fingers pinched or their finger caught in the slide coming back. Mm-hmm. And that's not a success story. No. But then you got to tell them, look, I've been shooting guns since 1972. Oof. So, hey, it's happened to me.
Yeah.
You know? I haven't had anything lately because I'm careful, but it can happen to the best of us, you know. So, but, it can take 2 or 3 times at the range, getting comfortable. Don't go shoot a 40 caliber if you're going to be carrying a 22 or 380. Mm-hmm. I tell people it's not the size of the bullet. It's the fact that you have a firearm. The person that you're pointing that firearm does not know what caliber gun that is. The bigger the gun, big gun. But a gun is a gun. You're looking down the barrel of a gun. You don't know if it's the 22, 38, 380 or 9 millimeter. It's going to accomplish that which you want to accomplish when you pull that trigger. Mm-hmm. I'm shot by a 22 in my shoulder. I know I've been shot. If I'm shot by a 40 in my shoulder, I may not be able to move my shoulder, but I'm still shot. The thing is, the object of carrying a firearm is for self-defense, not to kill someone.
Right.
You're stopping the threat.
Yes.
If I shoot you and you keep coming to me, I'm going to shoot you again. If you keep coming, I'm going to shoot you again until you stop coming at me. And so that's the thing. You can shoot them with a 22 6, 7 times, or you shoot them with a 40 6 or 7 times. The person's going to probably be dead. Yeah. So, get the gun that feels comfortable in your hand, and you'll come around. You'll come around because it's fun. Like you said, you went out there.
Yes, it was so much fun, and I wouldn't have said that prior to. Yeah, I really wouldn't. I think it's great we have a gun range here. I was surprised that a lot of people they still don't know that we have a gun range, but we do. Two Rivers Gun Range, off of 110, has been there. It's very nice, and they have a pistol and a rifle range. Right.
And they have metal targets. You can also take paper targets, and they will put them up for you, and they will help you with your gun and give you some tips on firearms. Sometimes I take classes, take 3 people out there. It's the maximum I can do. Mm-hmm. They'll come over and Jimmy, you need no help? No, I don't need no help.
I don't need no help.
But, they make sense. They see people shooting all the time, different various guns, and they have a lot of information. Most of them are former law enforcement or former military. So
Now, we've covered a lot today. So I just want people, if they want to get a hold of you for maybe some of this leadership stuff, maybe they need to know maybe how they can communicate better with their employees and with the people that they have to work with on a regular basis, or maybe they want to have some training on some guns. How can they get a hold of you?
We have a website. We have a Facebook page, fullarmortraining.net is our website. Telephone number is 912-602-8230. And our Facebook page is Full Armor Training, FATJO Smith, Fat J.O. Smith. But we put a lot of information on there, not only about firearms, about self-defense,
self-defense,
where women carry their guns, on their person. We have a lot of information that we put out to help.
You do. This is your whole passion. You spent your life in law enforcement and learning defense tactics, and your resume is so impressive. So I just thank you for being in our community and wanting to give back to it in such a cool way. And I want people to know that there are ways to take care of yourself and to feel like you are a little more in control of what happens to you, So
you don't want to be a victim.
You don't. None of us want to be victims. So I think learning how you can avoid that is always good. So thank you, Mr. Jimmy. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I didn't even ask you.
No, we our name of our business is Full Armor Training. It's based on Ephesians 6. So put on the whole armor. Put your mind, your body, and all this works together because if you are a stronger person, mentally, physically, and morally, you will be okay. And the thing is, I'm not afraid to confront somebody when I have to.
Yep.
I have to remember that I'm no longer a law enforcement officer. Yeah. So when I see something going down, sit back and
you got to know your role. Yep.
Right. Let the police be the police. So.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. I love the name of your business. So thank you, Mr. Jimmy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe.